Now, we've had some very frank conversations over the past couple of years, even as late as last year, after you lost in the finals of Queens to Sam Querrey, which was a very tough loss for you because you knew how important of a tournament that was, stature-wise, and you had a great tournament, beating Andy Murray one of the 3 times you beat him last year. And you had said, I remember you were in England, you called me here in the States, I was just about to come over to Wimbledon, and you were down in the dumps, and you said, you know, I just feel like if I had 5 matches back in my career, I'd have a totally different career.
Yeah.
The finals of the Olympics, where you got the silver medal.
Yeah.
Finals of Cincinnati, where you had match points against Roddick. Finals of Indian Wells, you lost a tough one to Djokovic, I assume, and Queens, and maybe another one. Do you feel like now those negatives and those losses have given you the opportunity to peak later in your career and have this success you're having?
Well, I think first and foremost on those losses have given me a huge amount of experience to be in those situations. And when we spoke after Queens, you know, I had been in a lot of finals and played a lot of big matches. You know, played Davis Cup finals matches and final and Masters Series matches. And you know, I hadn't been in that situation. And you said I hadn't been in that situation recently. And I did take that loss hard. And I'm a historian of tennis, so I realize the names that are on the trophy at Queens and the names that are on the Masters Series, you know, just Masters Series, Masters 1000s, Shield names that are on those that, you know, those don't come every day. And so I'm able to now look back and draw on, you know, having been in those situations, but what I want to do is be in those situations a lot. You know, I don't want to be in that situation in 2003 and then the next one comes, you know, 16 months later and the next one comes 3 years later. To have a high ranking out here, you have to be extremely, you know, sort of have a lot of great results, be very consistent, and stay healthy throughout a long period of time. And a lot of those things I wasn't. I was never consistent. I was never injury-free for more than 12 months at a time. Some of that was unlucky. Some of that was my doing. Some of that was a lack of work ethic or lack of you know, getting in the gym at the right times and doing the right things. So you know, I can draw on a lot of those matches, and I still do believe that because I haven't made that hurdle yet, jumped that hurdle of playing in winning a Masters 1000 event or playing in the semifinals of a Grand Slam.
But you're being tough on yourself. I mean, this is what we also talked about, the fact that when everyone has 5 matches that they wish they could have back, everyone has that no matter what the level is. I mean, I was ranked 60 in the world, and I feel like if I had 5 matches, I could have been taking that next level, because you don't focus on the ones that you did get over the hurdle. You're not focusing on the semifinal win in Cincinnati to get to the finals. You've been to the quarterfinals of 3 of the 4 Grand Slams, been a silver medalist in the Olympics, you've won numerous tournaments, you've come back from numerous injuries. At some point you feel like maybe that's kind of what makes you so great, is that you keep pushing yourself to that next level without appreciating what you have accomplished?
Well, I mean, I think every great athlete that you talk about is like that. I mean, it got to be like that. I feel like, yeah, I don't remember, you know, I remember who I beat because I remember every one of my matches like you do, but I probably felt like the semifinals of the tournament in Cincinnati, I should have won, you know, and so, you know, I felt like I should have won the final and I didn't, and that's what you dwell on.
Andy's been the alpha male for the past decade in American tennis.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have played huge matches against each other. Early on, you had that final in Cincinnati, match points, and that was the summer that he ended up breaking through and winning the U.S. Open. What was it like when you saw him kind of catapulting, and you were flourishing and had a very successful career, but is it an odd dynamic when you start off in the same place and then you see Roddick go to superstardom?
Naturally, I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, we competed at a lot of things. We were very close, and you know, we competed at horse, and like I said, driving to school, and so, you know, obviously tennis being the most important thing for us. And you know, when he moves up and goes up, you want to be right there. You know, I wanted to be right there with him. I knew that he was going to be a great player. I knew that. You can tell when guys are going to be really good. It's hard to pinpoint when guys are going to be 50 in the world, but you could tell that he wanted it.
Right.
You could tell he was going to be a great player. And I wanted to be just like that. So yeah, I mean, in 2003, it came quickly for us. I mean, we played in the finals of one of the biggest tournaments of the year in Cincinnati. Played a great match. He had won Montreal the week before, won Cincinnati, and then went on and won the U.S. Open. And I was, and I'd moved to about 20 in the world at the time, and I was 21 years old, and he was 20. I mean, so it seemed like, we were gonna kind of, I was gonna eventually get there, and he was there, and things were great. And fast forward 12 months later, and Cincinnati comes around, and he's 1 or 2 in the world, and I had a few injury problems, and Cincinnati comes around, and I have to pull out against Andre Agassi in the first round with a back injury, and I dropped to 50 in the world in 2004, and I'm going backwards, and obviously worrying about myself and keeping an eye on him because we're friends and competitors, and we want to be right there. We want each other to be right there, and so it's tough. It was tough to watch so closely, but it's still being afar. I mean, I wasn't there. I wasn't with him. I wasn't going through the things that he was going through. He was very popular. He had won Grand Slams. He was doing the things that he dreamt of doing. He was #1 in the world at the end of 2003. And I was 50 in the world, 40 in the world, and having injury problems and not going the direction that I thought it was going to go when I was 21. So, that part, those parts were hard when I wasn't with him, when I wasn't sort of in the same stratosphere as him at all. I couldn't understand where and what he was going through in the American events or the big events when you're seated in the top 5 in the world and top 2 in the world, and you're favored to win Grand Slams.
Well, there have been some intense matches. I remember being in Memphis and watching you guys play 3 tie breaks, and it definitely seems like there was some angst by the end of that match. Is that just inevitable when you have 2 good players, good friends, both wanting the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, we were more like brothers at that time. I mean, we knew each other extremely well, but sometimes didn't handle it on the court as well as or maturely as we could have, and I certainly have done that a lot, not just against him, done that a lot in my career, period. So you know what you're going to get from him, and you know how intense he is, and I wanted to be where he was. I mean, I wanted to be right up there with him, just as much being happy that he's doing, and successful and doing the things that he's doing, as much as I wanted to be right there with him, and having a great career as well. And so that, some of that played into it. There are a lot of things.